I bet you've never heard of this woman. Her name is Sue Williams, and she's been involved in 700 hostage negotiation situations. And her success rate is 99%. And earlier this year, I got to spend a whole week with her learning all of her secrets. And some of the things I learned are just absolutely life changing. So here are the top 5 things I learned from Sue, with number 1 being never lie. The only time Sue ever lies in a negotiation is if she needs to buy time to evacuate an area from someone who's, gonna the area up. Outside of that, do not lie, because like a whiff of dishonesty and it kills the deal. Negotiations only happen if both parties trust each other. Tip number 2, and this can be quite hard to do, negotiator should never be the decision maker. You'll notice that car salespeople always say, let me go and check with my manager. And the reason they do that is it shifts the power dynamic. It means that the negotiator doesn't have the decision-making power, therefore they can go away and use that as leverage. Tip number 3 is really great for salary negotiation, and it's all about knowing your red line. Where will you just never go below? And in order to actually maximize what you can get, you should always put out a number that almost makes you laugh out loud when you say it. Because when you anchor high, you've got all this room to negotiate down towards where your red line is, which is like your secret limit to the floor of what you're willing to do. So start really high. Tip number 4 happens to a lot of people without really realizing it, but you might be in a negotiation situation and not realizing it. Like when your boss says, well, how much do you want? This is a surprise negotiation, and you have every right to say, let me get back to you on that, and reschedule at a time that suits you and in a context that suits you. It doesn't have to be a face-to-face meeting. You can take that negotiation into an email or into a text message or onto a phone call. Do what suits you and control the situation. Tip number 5 is like the one no one wants to do, but it's probably the most powerful tip that Sue gave me, is research is everything. Like the best negotiators aren't smooth talkers, they're like the best researchers. The more you understand your counterpart's motives, behaviors, desires, and everything, the more ammunition and the more leverage you have when having a negotiation. And this is the fundamental thing that you should spend 90% of your time building a relationship, understanding your counterpart before even entering into the negotiation phase. As a result of all of this time spent with Sue, we've actually put all of her knowledge distilled into this instructional deck of cards called Negotiation Tactics that basically has the top 50 things that she uses on a day-to-day basis when trying to save people's lives that you can use in your day-to-day life. Go check it out.